You are welcome back to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cyrus, and I'm so happy to have you here. This is Toontum Network. Let's go. So it started off as slave trade. Our forefathers and Europeans worked together to move strong young men and women across the Atlantic to almost every corner of the world. But by the late 1970s, our African government has shown signs that they couldn't manage our economies to improve the lives of the people after independence. So the people on their own, through unconventional ways, began to move to Europe and North America and to take up all manner of jobs. By the mid-80s, the migration of Africans looking for jobs and quality of life overseas had changed from the unskilled to professionals leaving. Africa's trained doctors, nurses, artisans, engineers were being absorbed into different parts of the world. Don't get me wrong here. I am not referring to Africans who migrated overseas and got educated there by the system and became professionals. And I have nothing against exploring a better future for yourself and your family. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those who did majority of their training and development in Africa, and those that were financed by the government through scholarships and then got an offer and left for overseas. Because today, the situation has exploded. The number has hit all-time high. This phenomenon, however, isn't the same for all African countries. So I looked for countries in Africa who have lost more professionals in the pursuit of greener pastures. And I found this list on mo.ibrahim.foundation. Mo Ibrahim zoomed in on doctors only. And this is the stat he got from 2005 to 15. The top 5 countries on the list are Egypt, Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, and Ethiopia. And these are the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Egypt has lost 4,300 doctors in 2005 and almost 4,800 by 2015. Nigeria, 2,600 doctors in 2005 and 3,600 by 2015. South Africa had lost 1,800 doctors by 2005 and 1,700 by 2015. Ghana had lost 600 doctors in 2005 and 700 doctors by 2015. And the last on the list, Ethiopia, had lost 350 doctors by 2005 and 600 doctors by 2015. All these numbers, ladies and gentlemen, are just by the year 2015. You have to bear in mind the training of medical doctors over a 7-year period in Africa isn't cheap. On the average, it costs each African country between $21,000 and $59,000 to train one medical doctor, the report said. As of last year, 2022, the Washington Post reported that more than 11,000 medical doctors had left Egypt to the UK, and more than 10,900 had left Nigeria to the UK. So as I thought to myself, if those were the numbers to just the UK, how about those who made it to the USA, Canada, Australia, and the rest of the world? Every website you go to puts South Africa as the country with the best doctors in all of Africa by way of quality training, availability of medical training equipment, medical trainers, and hospital facilities. And this is the same country that has most of its doctors leaving after being trained. South Africa has lost 1,500 medical doctors who moved to Canada by the end of last year. So let me ask this question. In fact, I have 2 questions. How can we have multinational banks and insurance companies and telecommunication networks that has crossed borders in Africa and not hospitals? The biggest telecommunication network in Nigeria, in Ghana, and Cameroon right now is MTN, which comes from South Africa. How about South African doctors or the government and doctors from other countries within Africa explore the idea of opening cross-country branches of hospitals across the motherland, just as MTN, Pick and Pay, ShopRite, and Standard Bank has branches almost everywhere now, bringing the same standard, performance, and charges to prevent our people from traveling all the way to the UK. And the irony of it is that they travel all the way to the UK for medical services only to be catered for by an African doctor. Doesn't make sense. This continent is expanding, like I always say, but not growing, not developing. So why the brain drain in the first place? Why these professionals leaving? Or to put it in a better perspective, why are they happily or eagerly leaving with their families to abroad? They are not being forced at this point. They are not being captured and taken away against their will. No. They are literally going through the same process of searching for jobs online, applying and being interviewed and being offered the job and acquiring visas for that purpose. I don't think they love their country any less than any of us do. I think it's because they want to earn more for doing the same thing that they do here elsewhere. How much does your home country pay doctors? Let me ask you. Engineers, university professors, computer experts. I may be looking too far away at this point. How about we look at the common jobs around us? How much does a mason earn in your country per a day's job? How much does a plumber make, a mechanic, a carpenter, or an electrician? Can they build a future with their family on that income? Share with us in the comment if you know how much doctors earn in your own country in Africa. But I have the second question for all of us who will watch today's episode. Imagine you have a particular skill set which you acquire training via some form of government scholarship. It pays you a pretty decent salary at this point to live a relatively comfortable life in any part of Africa you are now. And you see an offer for the same skill set in a different country, which will pay you 20 times the salary for doing the same job you are doing right now. Tell me this, and be honest with me. What will be your response to that offer? If brain drain will ever slow down, because I don't think it will ever stop, but if it can ever be slowed down, we'll have to raise the bar on this continent. We'll have to expand our institutions, hospitals, and corporations. Then we'll have to upgrade on our minimum wages. It's 2023 for crying out loud. Inflation is unlike never before. Prices of everything has gone through the roof. And so should wages. Paying an experienced medical doctor $20 for a day's work, which is like a big deal in Ghana now, won't cut it going forward. No matter how much he loves his country, when he knows there are others earning more than $100 per hour doing the same thing, no way. I mean, these are the realities of the problems we have. And most government doesn't seem like they want to really tackle the problem. Because when I watch TV, and I watched it recently, when they were talking about the problem with brain drain and giving out the numbers of how many people are leaving the shores of Africa, they're encouraging professionals to stay back and work in love for their country, something like that. Meanwhile, the things they have to do to make it more convenient for them to stay here, they won't. Rather, they'll spend the money on other things. How about they put the nation's resources to the right use and stop the corruption and use the nation's revenues for where they are supposed to be used? I mean, do they even think in that direction? That is the last thing on their mind. But rather, they'll waste time, spend money organizing seminars and programs to sensitize university graduates for not taking up, offers that are given them from overseas. I honestly don't think this approach is going to help. But what I think can help the situation is improving on the conditions of service. How about you do that first? Thank you so much for taking time to watch today's episode. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment if you have to. Until I come your way again, God bless you, and it's bye-bye for now.